Here we go. All right.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Well, I guess what I'm going to do, is it in the road. I want to,
we need to go through the regular meeting procedures.
Okay,
So. Sorry. How do we want to do public comment? Do we want to take care of that now, since we do?
Well, it's listed above the minutes.
Okay, well, I guess we want to start from scratch and kind of tell what your problem is. So, yeah, come up, because that way the public knows what we're doing here, Rod.
We've got a road down in our Walnut Township, and it's off of 258. I call it Trago, and it goes south. And I've been in 18 years, and it's always stopped at Lacey's, just past Lacey's house. And I got a map. I mean,
We got that.
and one of the township people down there, if you got the blue line or whatever, showed the road, he took and went across here and had a dozer, had Jeff Wagner going there with the dozer, 8.75 hours, charged him $1,000. And he come to me wanting to know what the township's going to pay for any of that. Well, that ain't even showing where the road's at. And since I've been in 18 years, we've never mowed it. We've never bladed it. You know, I've never been back in there until yesterday was the first day I drove back in there. You can't drive down the road. You got to go through the Bromefield, Lister's Bromefield, to go back here. And then he's got hay stacked in the road. And
Well, what is your question then to us? What? I mean, this.
He was telling me state statutes, nothing's ever been done in 20 years. The landowners are the ones that have to bring the road up to specifications in order for the township to start taking care of it. I'm wondering, am I required to pay this bill? I mean, he's came to me a couple times before questioning that back there, you know, and I told him, we ain't done nothing back in there for a long time. Now, maybe it might be bad on my part because I never went and checked it out. But
Craig, it seems to me that if you wanted some work done, your governing body would have a meeting and have a resolution to authorize that.
He didn't come to me,
So
he just called me.
Yeah,
you know?
so that's, but you guys would have a vote among your township.
Yeah, I mean, it had to been with the other two on board, whether or not what to do.
Sounds like he didn't have authorization.
But then the other question I have, how do I get this off of there? I mean, they show it a road and everything, but there's no road. I mean, it's grown up in grass and sumac brush along the sides and trees, and I mean.
Well, but it's not necessarily proven to be a road, so.
Well, and
that's the part of the problem is no proof that it is a road to begin with.
right, that's what, and Roger was looking back there and he's not found any proof that it ever was declared a road.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, before I tell the guy, well, I mean, we're not going to pay any of it anyway. But
I'm going to say, I mean, if you want to consult with Pat, but otherwise it's not a county matter. I don't know what we can do as a body. I mean, if Roger can help you as far as any mapping or anything, that's more power to, to get any information you need. But
Well, to start with, the man should have come to you first before he just.
well, he talked to me a few times that he was going to get the guy. And I thought, well,
But
we don't think it's never been maintained by us.
That should have been come to the county board or the township board, and
Right.
that all worked out before you.
But I mean, even what he did to work on wasn't even the road. It was along the fence. So, I mean,
Yeah, kind of looking at the parcel here, that's
we have several parcels, but they're under common ownership, and so there's definitely access both from River Road and even from Sherman Road. So that property is not landlocked, and from what I can see that's on the map that Roger Denton maintains, I guess, this road doesn't even go to the property. It stops well before the property.
Yeah, it's always stopped right there, right past Lacey's house, where we've always stopped. We never have gone back down in there.
But even the part that is identified on the county map, or I'm not sure exactly how to say that, but was at one point identified on the county map as being a road, doesn't go all the way to their property. It stops well before their property. So.
What do you legally advise, Greg? Deny it?
Well, I want to talk to you a little more outside of the meeting to talk about giving advice, which I'm definitely willing to do. But I don't see that there's evidence here that it is a road. So, has there been a claim made?
No, he just came to my house the other night with a bill and wanted to know if we were going to pay for that. And I told him I'd have to get back with him because I wanted to find out if there's even a road. But I mean, with some of the old paperwork, we can't find that it was even declared a road. I mean, it was plotted at one time, or I guess houses are going to be built in there or something maybe one time. I don't know what the squares all are.
Well, there was a town.
That's the old town of Sumner.
That was done in the 1800s, wasn't it?
Yeah, that's the old town of Sumner. Sumner was platted back in the 1860s. Oh, you're talking about this? Yeah, that's the old town of Sumner.
That's the old town.
This is the old Sumner town site.
Okay.
And the squares you're looking at here are those squares where they abut the road.
So those were all houses at one time?
Well, they weren't houses. Those were platted blocks. There were lots of blocks in there because Sumner was going to be a big city.
Okay.
And it didn't quite happen that way.
Well, I was reading they called it Schubert Road or something like that.
Well, there were names on all of the streets and drives on that plat. So everything there was done, but then the plat was vacated, and then certain portions of that plat still have roads because people have bought some of it, and so you still have some roads in there. So that all works with it. The one thing that we could do to satisfy this situation, we show, and I started this several years ago, if you will remember, because we had, the state came in, we talked to the townships about trying to find out who's maintaining all of the different roads within the county. And I've started a database that shows whether they're rock or whether they're dirt or whether they're paved. And if they're paved, are they asphalt or are they chip and sealed? And we maintain that plus who is responsible for each of those roads. And we went to each township, and Walnut did provide me with what they thought. And what I can do, a portion of this is on there, but we can draw the line on their maintenance if that's what everyone would like for us to do. We can draw the line on their maintenance right there where Greg is telling me that they're accustomed to maintaining to that point, and then we will show the maintenance to that point and no further. It is not unusual within the city and within the county to have right-of-ways that have been dedicated. When I hear the term road, road to me does not mean driving surface. Road means the total width of the property upon which it exists. And so the road includes the driving surface and the drainage ways and the utility ways and all of those things. So those might still exist out there, but in many, many cases around, there are what are shown as right-of-ways, but there are no improvements in those right-of-ways. And so I don't think we have to remove those unless I find a compelling reason. And if you say, hey, take that right-of-way off, I'd be happy to do that. But it's very simple for me to go in and take off township maintenance off of that road or off of that portion. Does that make sense?
Yep.
We didn't get all the counties to participate, but I do know we've had now, I think 5 of the counties have participated, so we start updating that. And then there's still a number, we still have about 150 chunks of road out there that we're still asking questions on as to who they belong to, because I would love to say this only happens once a year. It doesn't. This happens 2 or 3 times a month that someone's coming in looking for road information, wanting to know if this is a valid road or not a valid road. And when that occurs, I try and dig quick information and then move on with it. But in many, many cases, people are selling properties out there. There's been a drive back to it, and they think, let's go get this thing improved so that we can sell the property. And we run into this quite a bit.
Well, another example is Wichita Road, coming off the River Road, you know, that's back before I was even in there when your dad was, and they dropped the ball on that. So, I mean, all right, well, I'll discuss it more with you. And, okay. I mean, if I could stop the maintenance right there, I'm all in favor of that. I mean, because
You're the ones who tell me which sections you were maintaining. Once I put that on, that becomes reference for somebody else. But if you tell me that's where you've been quitting,
yeah,
right
it's
there,
almost been 19
then
years.
I'll pull that off.
And I never have done anything down there. And I talked to Joanne Lister, and Dave Toole never did anything down in there.
Okay.
So,
How new is this map? Because to me, it looks like the brush is off. If it was a road, the brush is off the road. The brush wasn't on the road, so he just wanted that brush cleaned.
This is a 2014 photograph
Yeah.
that you're looking at. And I will tell you, when we looked at it in the 2017 photograph, it doesn't show up nearly that well. So in a short 3 or 4 years,
But those pictures are also taken in the fall or when there are no leaves on the trees, so there aren't. If there are bushes there, they're not on. There aren't any leaves on the bushes.
you didn't go down and look at it before you started clearing anyway. You don't know whether it was passable.
well, from looking at all the stuff that they took off down there, it wasn't passable because he was going down here and crossing. I mean, you could see where he was going down there and turning. What he did was went through there to make it easier, go right straight across along that fence.
Yeah.
Basically, what he did, cleaned his fence row out.
Yeah.
So, I mean, because right here, like I told you, that was a road that went all the way down through there. There's 2 fences probably 20 feet apart from each other. There's a fence on each side that went down through there.
Well, we don't show anything there either, and even on, as you can see on the old county road maps, there's nothing shown in that area.
Right. So,
You could see on the 2017 photos where they weren't driving across where you're seeing the road on that photo. They were actually going up further and across to get through there. And I think that actually shows the clearing that he did probably on somebody else's property, right?
I'm presuming this was Marvin's over
Yeah.
here. And I think that's Lister's, and that's Lister's.
Okay.
And this here, part of that's Beaudridge's, it could be part of Ellsworth Beaudridge's trust.
Yeah, it is. It is, because we've got somebody else trying to get part of that right now.
Okay, and there's Smith right there.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Okay.
All right.
All right. Well, I hope that can help you.
Yep. And thank you for putting the tube in. All in, done. Road grader's been down there today, blading the road.
I seen John Funk at noon. He said to thank you. Appreciate it.
Yep. So now my rock truck broke down, so doing something.
Yep.
All righty, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
Thanks, Roger.
you.
Thanks, brother. Appreciate it. You want me to wait or just come down to your office?
Well, I give you a call. I made a note to myself, so I'll give you a call and you're welcome to wait around, but I don't know how long it'll be.
Right. Okay, yeah, just give me a call, then we can hook up tomorrow.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, did everyone have a chance to review the minutes from last week?
They were pretty accurate.
Yes,
I'd make a motion to approve.
I'd second that motion.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the minutes from last week. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Passed 3-0. Commissioner comments and committee reports. Did you have any?
I don't have anything.
Had a JCAP meeting, but other than what she presented today, it wasn't much.
Okay. I didn't have any meetings this week. New business before the board.
I ran into Alan Cummings over the noon there, and he had a call into you. That road south of Tom Wagner's, that in that last rain, it needed some rock or something. And I said I'd relay the message. So that's what that's about. And like I said, John Funk said to tell you, thank you. He was glad to get that tube in. And I told him the story, and he said, I was wondering what's going on.
Okay. One thing that we got is fiscal year 2019 carryover for reimbursements, plan for budget summary and budget narrative for corrections, Atchison County Corrections. She brought it by this morning and we reviewed it. Is there a motion to allow me to sign on behalf of the county?
I so moved, Mr. Chairman.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. All in favor say aye. Aye. Pass 3-0. Seth, how long are?
A minute.
Okay. Justin's at 1:30, so do you want to make?
Okay, so what I have is the work estimate for McAfee Henderson Solutions for the 2019 off-system bridge. Our project number 3C 4871-01. I'm just presenting the hours that they are quoting us for that project. I just need approval to accept that.
Look at this.
We have agreement where if it takes less, we'll build accordingly.
Not 100% sure how that works, but I do believe they fulfill that entire amount.
I'd move to approve McAfee Henderson Solutions bid of 1,586 hours.
I'll second that, Mr. Chairman.
It's been moved and seconded to approve.
Is that hours or dollars?
Hours.
Hours, okay.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Pass 3-0. Now, should I sign? Just
No, I just need to let them know that we
Okay, just in
accepted
minutes.
that hours. Yep.
Okay.
That's all I had. So
Over the noon hour, a gentleman approached me down there at Bartlett. His mother has a place out on McPherson in the dust control. He got a hold of Hams. Hams told him that they write the county a check every month to maintain that road, and that we're the ones. And I said, that is not true. We get a check, but it's not to the salt in the road. That's for the tonnage.
Not salting the road, but
Yes.
dust control.
And that the gentleman that proposed kind of the contract has passed away, and we really don't have enough. But we do not, I told him we do not furnish, we don't have equipment. We don't furnish that for anybody. The landowners would have it done. It's at our expense.
yes.
We're aware of it. We're looking into it too. So
Okay, that's
And that's the same as that email that you received last week. So
Pending.
it's still in the process. Yeah.
So other than that, I'll look into that road issue. I'm sure somebody's probably down there blading today, so we can get some rock down there.
Alan said need a couple loads of rock. He said that'll fix it for now. He said the tube may be bad, but he said right now it needs some rock.
I know what you're talking about.
Right south of Tom Rogers there.
Did we ever get the crane fixed?
It's still being worked on. They called last week and they said they were still in the process. They didn't really give us a exact time frame, so I'm hoping soon because bird season is coming up. So.
Okay.
Anything else?
That's all I've got.
All right. Thank you.
But before he goes, also, we did have our first utility permit application under the new resolution, and I think everything came in sort of what we were hoping for and expecting, and it's been, it hasn't officially been approved. Okay, so it's been approved and seemed to work well.
Hey, we're all going to have to start drinking Dr. Pepper. This morning he walked in with a crutch, and this afternoon he runs in here.
I got tired of carrying the dang thing. I started walking past the thing, but they stay in the truck. So tomorrow morning I'll have it back.
Okay, thank you, Seth.
Thank you.
How are you?
Doing well. How are you guys this afternoon?
Okay.
Good.
He had a chance to get with the Globe and
I haven't. I was gonna see her. I expected her to see her here, but I'll get with her and see what her process or strategy on this issue is going to be.
Okay, like this, that don't have a number at the top. Oh, you got it.
Yeah, I made a couple changes. Did you get my email?
I did.
So that's all right.
Looks fine to me.
I make a motion to adopt resolution number 2018-1442. A resolution certifying legal authority to apply for a Kansas moderate income grant application from the Kansas Housing Resource Corporation and authorizing the chair of the county commission to sign and submit an application. The project is located at 325 Commercial Street, Atchison, Kansas. I guess better terminology would be the old YMCA building.
what changes were made. Is that very minor?
Well, it had said the applicant, and that wasn't very clear to me, so the applicant is the county, and so I just sort of changed that part around and made most of it. Also, there were some findings that were in there, for example, that you're a county, and I moved that up above to a whereas, one of those paragraphs. So, but substantively, there weren't any. The important part, I think, is the resolution part that giving the chairman the authority to sign the application on behalf of the county and to submit it.
Well, but there are 3 signature lines. I mean, does that?
Right, but in the now therefore be it resolved part, that the chair of the Atchison County Commission is authorized to act as the official representative of the county in signing and submitting an application.
Okay. Submitting.
Does your group have a name yet?
Thus far, it's just me, the individual, but the agreement that you'll consider next. We also cleaned up that language a little bit so that you'll have the ability to transition that when that time comes.
Getting back to the motion, Mr. Chairman, I second that motion.
It's been moved and seconded to approve resolution number 2018-1442. Is there any other discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Pass 3-0.
Do we just need one signature, you said?
This one's got.
Well,
It's got to
this one, right, the resolution is all 3 of you adopting. It's the application that will come later would only require 1 signature. It doesn't have to take place within a meeting.
Do we need to have 2 of those signed?
Fine with me.
One for,
This,
I would say probably.
This is just
I'm
That was
fine.
the one from this morning, that the template.
Do we need to have two signs back?
Well,
I'm fine with just having a digital version.
I think that, I'm not sure, I printed another one that had the paragraphs, and
I
the
see.
font's a little bigger in the
If we
paragraphs.
can just, if that's a scanned version of that, for that and for the agreement, I'm fine with that.
Okay.
And you can keep the originals.
Good luck in your endeavors.
Well, there's also that agreement, and I don't know where it went.
In that yellow folder,
In that yellow folder
Oh.
from,
should be there.
And we did make some changes to it. Most of those were, none of them were substantive. Mostly they were formatting.
Yeah.
Um,
the template I built.
that
in front
is
of the
not,
minutes.
that's not the final one.
This one is not.
That is not. I can print it again, but I don't know. It doesn't look like, because that has some fancy.
That's the one you handed to me this the work session.
This is not the, this isn't what I handed to you.
So that's the actual application document.
I will print this again. How many originals do you want?
I just want a scanned version of the
One?
signed. Yep. One is fine with me.
This might be it.
Yeah, I'll go get it.
Is it this one here?
No.
No, that's a duplicate of what we have. Just Mm-mm. And this, what we're looking at, how would we describe this? This would be
This is the letter of intent.
the binding letter of intent between, shall I just read that top part for the audience? This is a letter of agreement is made this day and year, last written below and by and between Justin Prejean, an individual representing a group of investors from the Atchison County, from the Atchison community that is pursuing an adaptive reuse residential redevelopment project at 325 Commercial Street, herein known as the developer, and Atchison County, a government organized under the laws of the state of Kansas, hereby the county. So
I move to authorize the county commission chair to sign the document.
I'll second the motion.
it's been moved and seconded. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Pass 3-0.
Justin needs to sign that as well.
It's gotta be another round.
Okay. That's my good friends who won't move it.
You got it. Thank you for the opportunity. I won't let you down.
Yeah, good luck.
Okay, good luck.
Like we talked earlier, I advise you to give your statement to Mary, how you want it, versus her reading the minutes and writing up the story.
Yep, I'll give her a call this afternoon.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Good luck.
I will get my next one to you.
Thank you.
Okay, the next thing I've got is K.S.A. conference happens in October, and they need we need to designate who is going to be our voting delegate for any matters that come before the K.S.A. meeting. Jack is right now the only one that's definitely going, or the most likely to go, put it that way. And I would like to nominate him as to be the first delegate, voting delegate. I see we can have alternates. Is there any other people going that we know for sure yet that we could put in for first and second alternate?
As far as elected officials, I think I know I'm scheduled to go. Depends upon my scheduling with the final voting election coming up and such. But I am on the schedule to go. I'm not sure on Connie. Shelley's not going to be going.
Okay. Should we say a county employee, or does it have to be the name?
No, I think it's got to name somebody.
Have to name somebody.
And it has to be an elected official, doesn't it, for K.S.A.?
Getting back to your motion, I'll second the motion that Chairman or Commissioner Byer be the voting delegate.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Jack will be our voting delegate. And then I think I'll go ahead and make a motion that Michelle be the first alternate, if she's able to do so and Jack is not.
I'll second that.
It's been moved and seconded. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Pass 3-0. So you'll take care of all this.
Okay, you'll have to take care of his registration, and you say you're gonna get your room, or you're
The room's already got.
That's what we're
Okay.
taking care of.
So you take care of the registration. Okay.
Is there a pack in there, or does he receive a pack?
You'll take care of it.
He'll get that.
Right.
This is for her to send in to K.S.A. with the designation
Make
of
sure
who
that
is
you
who.
are registered.
Okay. And the hotel's for Monday and Tuesday.
Okay. Is there any other old business?
Yes. Yes, Monday and Tuesday. Yes, this is Monday and Tuesday.
Is there any other old business? If not, we have county councilor updates.
Oh, yeah, old business. Okay, that could be new business. Have we made any, have we got a hold of Trudy Rice to set a timetable up, or was she gonna get back with us? Or for strategic
I had
planning?
sent an email to Jamie and I hadn't heard back yet, so I just sent it yesterday. We've been a little tardy this last week, so I will definitely have something for us next week. Touch base. If not, county councilor updates.
We have the bridge bonding project is set to close on the 30th, and that's when the funds will be delivered to Exchange National Bank. There's been a bevy of activity of getting signed documents circulated, but it looks like the closing itself is going to take place by telephone, so I don't think we need to go down there, but we probably will need the chairman to be available to sign between now and then.
When will that?
Well, I don't know. I was expecting to have it by email earlier today, and I don't have anything yet, so there may not be anything more. Maybe the resolution is the only thing.
I'm going to be gone for 2 days. I'm leaving tomorrow morning at 9. So, is there any way we could?
We'll know for sure today.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I could even swing through town in the morning because we'll be coming through. A couple friends and I are going to a farm show up in Iowa, so I'm going to be gone for a couple of days. They'll be coming through town, so if there's something, let me know.
The Kansas County Councilors Association selected me to go to the International Municipal Lawyers Association meeting in Houston, Texas in October. And it's essentially a week long. So my plan is to go to that. I've looked at the schedule. It's a big organization. There's a lot of topics on there, ranging from problems that really big cities have to problems that smaller municipalities or counties have. So I'm looking forward to that. I will be gone then. I think it's the 17th through 22nd of October, so I'll probably travel on the 16th. But I wanted to make you aware of that.
You'll miss one meeting, two meetings?
Just one meeting, I think. And I haven't really looked at the calendar, but I know it's not more than. It ends on the weekend. They do have topics or meetings on Saturday, and there are even some on Sunday, but those are more specific. So I shouldn't miss more than one meeting. So I'm grateful to the County Councilors Association for picking me.
Very good.
That's all I have.
Okay. Any executive session necessary?
You pass these out. We do something for this. This was the one that Wes got.
Oh, that was just in the packet. I think that was just for us to look at. It was mentioned last week, the award that Wes, and then there
It was a
was,
certification, right?
Yes.
and then,
Seth, noxious leaves.
yeah, Seth got his pesticide application certificate, just for us to look at it.
Okay, great. I've seen it.
It's nice to see that
Well,
people being
our
recognized.
county department heads and employees are continually doing education to improve themselves. And sometimes you just think, well, 2 or 3 days out of the office to do one of these trainings is a lot. But they seem to always come back with an idea that makes us more efficient, makes us serve the citizens better, or save money, or a combination of all three. So I think these things are well worthwhile.
I personally, a lot of times, I don't know that employees are going to these trainings, and I mean, it's kind of nice to know that if they get a certificate of, for that to come through, just so we're aware of some of the stuff that, being here once a week, it's hard to keep up on a lot of this.
And a lot of people were off at CIC last week. I mean,
Yeah.
Keep working on our systems. We can be more efficient, understand our numbers better. It just makes a lot of difference.
Maybe this is a good time to discuss one little matter. We talked earlier about the sales tax committee, and one of the problems that it seemed like the city has is when they're looking at our books and stuff that's presented on the CIC system, it seemed like it's very hard for them to grasp what they're looking at, and I know I have the same problem. Is there any way that we could have a report or something that would be more user friendly at the end of the day? This is just kind of coming off the top of my head. I haven't thought this out or anything, but I think that if there was something like that we could do, it would go a long way to help the city and the other municipalities with grasping the, almost need someone here to go through the steps to come to the number they want.
Right. It seems like, Mr. Chairman, that it's not that the numbers aren't there. It's that
they're unreadable.
They're in a different format.
Yeah,
might be the right terminology. Yes. And if they're in a format I'm not used to, I have a hard time reading.
Yeah.
And so I don't know if there's a way to, they have a different. The city of Atchison is our biggest city, and they have a different way of reporting, and they use a little different accounting system.
Right.
They're using a accrual accounting system. We're using costs. So I don't know whether there'd be a value of some of our clerk or maybe even Jamie Madison to spend a little while with. There's a number of people, Carrie, Kerry or Strebe or even Joe Warren to see how we calculate things and.
Because it comes to me it seems like at the end of the day, they get there, but it's a long road to get to where they're wanting, and so we're lacking either in communication or in the readability of a report, and I think that would go a long ways to helping with our sales tax questions. Would be, and that's something that I was going to try to touch base with Sean with, and maybe some other members of the committee, and seeing what maybe they could propose. I wanted to bring it up to you guys.
Most of the reports I've seen out of CIC are summary of counts, and I don't know, but I assume that they could be printed with more detail, and I know if they're looking for more detail. I like to usually see the bottom line. I mean,
I think they go for more detail.
I feel this is a talk that we should probably have with Kim and Stacy, because that's the two departments that they're questioning. And give them the message. How can we make this simpler?
They need to be included, yes. But I think it's going to have to almost come from us, so they're going to have some direction on maybe, and I don't know who we talk to, see what we need to present, and then there's going to be another part is getting the numbers that we have to that report.
I would suggest that Mr. Rizzo gets the information that the city's wanting, get it to you. You get that information to Stacy and Kim. This is what they're wanting to see.
Okay, this is something I've been wanting to work on, and since our last meeting, I haven't had a chance. So, I want to.
But it should be pointed out that we do have advisory committees for both of these things, represented by elected officials, both all cities, and that there's lots of places to ask questions. That's an appropriate place for these questions to be filtered down, and especially when we need to maybe get back to the committee on some of the questions, because nobody knows all those numbers off the top of their head. I mean, I know people who do that. They're usually very much spending their life in their accounting systems.
Well, I've been looking at some of these sales tax numbers, for 4 years now, and sometimes if I'm gone just for a little while, and I have to go back and think my way through of what's being presented. And I know, like at budget time, when you see some of these things once a year, you almost have to start from scratch again. Exactly. Where do we start? So that's just something I wanted to bring up while we had time that I was wanting to do. Okay, with that. Does anyone else have anything?
I might add something to that, because I went out and talked to Josh the other day at the IT department, and I said I want to be trained on how to, I'm familiar how to run queries and things on many other systems. I'd like to have some knowledge firsthand of it is available too. So I'm going to take a little time over the next period of time and try to learn more about it.
The CIC system specifically?
Yeah. I understand that Commissioner Bodenhausen got involved with it and learned a lot. And it might help, because I like to see some of the line items once in a while that go into office supplies and some of those major budget lines.
Yeah, Commissioner Bodenhausen really got into it. I mean, he would go through all those reports before meetings.
Right. So sometimes you're information-rich and analyst poor.
Yeah, sometimes the devil's in the details,
right,
and sometimes you're better off just kind of getting the summary, and but that's a case-by-case basis. So I think that'd be a good thing. With that, if there's nothing further, do I hear?
Well, we talked in workshop that we're going to tour, probably not one day, the future sites of bridges, and then the bridges that's been completed.
I think I didn't know if you guys had committed to go out and look at the proposed bridge sites that haven't been started yet, and I definitely wanted to see that. And then I think it'd be a good thing to go out while they're being built, kind of get in, look at them midway through, or when they're breaking ground. And also think, and I think who brought that up this morning, that we maybe need to, when we get one opened, it needs to be in the paper show where it's at, what it looks like. This is where your tax dollars have been spent.
And then maybe we
Is that you?
yeah, I brought it up, but I think that even how do we name a bridge? And is there some historical person that made a significant contribution to Atchison County? And because there's people that have forgotten about that have made gigantic strides in the county from the area of that bridge. I mean, where they farmed or
I think that's a good idea, but you're gonna make one family mad and maybe 10.
yeah,
One family happy and honored and 10 families mad. Well, why they choose him? Because I know him and I bought his home.
well, yeah, those are always
I
problems.
have mixed feelings.
And maybe our historic society should make a recommendation to us. He seems to have a lot of detail. I don't want to come up with the names. And I don't think any of the commissioners do, but I was impressed by Chris Taylor's information about the townships, how they were named.
That was good.
You know,
I often wonder how they got named.
Yeah, so maybe some of the bridges named after the township. I mean, so.
Or the creek thing.
The creek,
Not as we just know it's a creek, but maybe years ago it had a name.
Yeah.
Jackson Creek.
Yeah.
It's just like Valley Falls used to be Grasshopper Falls. And that just then the name changed, but I think their festivals are Grasshopper Falls Day. They go back to their heritage, so it's just a reflection.
Sure.
Anything further?
I'd make a motion to adjourn at 1:46.
1:46, correct.
I second that.
It's been moved and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
We are adjourned.
Okay.